Well, actually, that's perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we'll kick off
Yeah.
episode 7 of Conversations with the Community. We got Mike here from California, which is nice. I can finally be with someone in my own time zone again. I love it when that happens. And you, of all things, you want to talk about Cherry Bomb, which is
Yes.
interesting, exciting, concerning. Cherry Bomb's so, from what I can tell, divisive.
It's
Either,
polarizing.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
better word. I like that. That's a better word. Not divisive, polarizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You either love it or you hate it. I actually went back today because you wanted to talk about it, and I was like,
Hmm.
fuck, it's been a while. So I put it on, and I realized I'd slept on a couple tracks. Like Buffalo was a
Mm.
track I'd slept on a little bit. It's like, oh, this one's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then not Okaga, not the last one, the one before that.
Um,
Keep them O's.
I believe, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Let me see.
That one too. I was like,
Yep. Keep
yeah,
those.
this one's
No,
kind of a
keep
cool.
those is
Yeah, it's a
it's up
cool
there for
jam
me.
too. So Mike, I mean, go for it. What's got you so intrigued with Cherry Bomb? How do you want to get
Yeah,
into this
man.
one?
So I just want to preface this. Cherry Bomb really is an album that I feel like you love or you hate. And with it that there's not a lot of fans that are like in the middle ground where it's like, oh, it's all right. It's either a very even sonically, thematically, in every way possible. There's something that someone can hate about it and there's something that someone can love about it. And for me, I think I'd mostly just love it because I discovered the album around its release, 2015.
Okay.
And think around then I was probably 12, 13. And we talked about this a little bit, but I was in a military family, so like we did move a lot. And with that kind of came like a lot of like confusion. Like,
Yeah.
just personally, it's like, damn. It's like if I keep doing this until I'm 18, where am I gonna end up,
Yeah.
Like how am I gonna function in society if like, oh, I like meet people new every 4 years and then they're out of my life. So Cherry Bomb was like the album that kind of like sonically represented like that confusion for me. In 2015, like if I mean people are gonna notice when I say the alt-right pipeline. I'm not sure if you know about it,
No, I don't know what that
especially
is.
back then. So the alt-right pipeline, which is it was kind of like a brand of internet humor that was
Oh,
edgy and distasteful for the purpose of being funny. Like
is this the with the
it's
frog and
just
everything?
the
The
frog.
the Pepe frog, is that part of it?
Yeah, I mean technically, but it's just more of like, you know, very distasteful humor.
So
And
let me see if I can, because I
yeah,
remember 20 2016, 2015,
hmm
when Trump was running or he was gonna run,
yeah,
and that was starting to ramp up. And I
yeah.
remember at that point in time I was working nights, and there was me and another guy, and we would spend a lot of time on the what was it, the Trump subreddit. I can't remember what it
The
was.
Donald.
The Donald,
Yeah,
the Donald,
yeah,
yes.
mhm,
And we were on there not because we were Trump fans, not because we thought he'd ever be president or even wanted him to be president, but
mhm,
because it was just the funniest fucking thing we'd ever seen
yeah,
in our entire lives. The memes that were coming across and the things that people were saying, it was just
yeah.
wild, wild shit.
And then imagine that, but to an impressionable young audience. That's kind of the generation I was in.
Yeah, that's even scarier to consider
Yeah.
because at least when like my friend and I we were reading
Mhm.
this shit, yeah, we're in our 30s and
Yeah.
understanding it's all a joke, but as a kid, I can't even fucking imagine.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And then with that in mind, you can think about like alt-right pipeline. So with that, I was just kind of like this little annoying kid. I'm not gonna lie. And then 2015, Tyler drops Cherry Bomb. And at this point, I was already like a little bit into Odd Future. I was watching Loiter Squad on Adult Swim, if you know that at all.
I don't know what that is
It
now.
was basically Odd Future's Jackass.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jackass, like Impractical Jokers. It was that kind of show. So I was already into them a little bit. And before this, I listened to like Wolf and Goblin because I was like a little kid. I didn't know anything about Bastard. But to hear Cherry Bomb, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? It was like from like the first seconds of Def Camp where you hear that guitar,
Yeah.
that power chord. I was like, oh, this is like not rap. But then he started rapping, and I was like, what is this? And I don't know if you remember this, but in my email, my dad listened to a lot of hard rock. He
Okay,
listened to a
which
lot of classic rock.
yeah, sure.
Um, and then he kind of put me on that just a little bit. But he also listened to some rap. And sometimes, I would sneak around and listen to his 2001 CD.
Yeah,
If my dad
yeah,
watches this, you
Dre,
know about
yeah.
that. And then my mom was big into R&B. Like she loved Beyonce, she loved Aaliyah, she loved all of that. She loved Fergie. So I was kind of listening to kind of both those music around this time. And my dad put me on some bands. My mom put me on some singers. And over time, I discovered rap, right? Like
Yeah.
just through my dad and just through 2001. I was like, oh, this shit, this is kind of sick. Let me go into a little bit. But it's like up until 2015, I haven't found anything that I had liked, you know,
Oh, on your
if
own.
that makes on my own. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't found like my taste yet. So Cherry Bomb, hearing that first, then I was like, what? That's a guitar. That's a guitar. So I was like, oh fuck, I like guitar.
Yeah.
So I kept listening. I was like, oh shit, this is fucking sick. And then all the songs that were rough around the edges, you know, Cherry Bomb. That song
Cherry
comes to mind.
bomb. Fuck,
It's
man.
over compressed as fuck. It's loud. It's rough. And that was everything I kind of loved. Because it was like, holy shit. At this point, I had been listening to a lot of Slipknot.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was like as hard as probably my 12-year-old ears could go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, this is fucking sick. And then to go into Cherry Bomb, I was like, oh shit, this is fucking sick. It's like everything I love from my
Yeah.
dad's side, you know? It's like a hella rap, hella rock. It's just loud, it's ugly, it's rough. And then you go into the next track, which is,
What is the next
which
one
is
after Cherry Bomb? God,
or no,
we're both looking now. This is funny.
yeah, you go into Blow My Load, which is like softer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then
you
there's
know,
even
and then there's like fucking Young, Smuckers, and like Okaga.
yeah.
So it's just, it was like at the time, it was like a song that was half rock, half like R&B. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, as like a little like 12-year-old little shit kid, I was listening to like the Brown Stains of Dark East Latifah on repeat. Cause that and like Cherry Bomb and Run were like, fuck yeah, this is my shit. And then it'd come up to two-seater. I'm like, oh, it's good.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what about how did you feel about the track "Find Your Wings"? Because that one's like
Find
very
Your Wings.
fine. That one's nice and calm and beautiful, and there's the female vocals in there, and that one is a completely huge departure from Pilot and Cherry Bomb, which is kind of on
Yeah.
either side of it.
You want me to answer this from the 12-year-old perspective or the now perspective?
Both. I mean, both. Yeah. I mean, when you're 12 and
12-year-old
now.
perspective, I skipped the song.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I skipped the song. It was if I have it pulled up right now, the order it would go in was Def Camp, Buffalo, Skip Pilot, Listen to Run
Skip
like 5
Pilot.
times.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
I know.
It can't be
I
done.
know. I don't know what my kid self was thinking, man.
That's interesting that you would
I did
be
not
in.
like Pilot,
That's interesting because
which is
that
weird.
one, yeah, it's a loud, distorted ride.
It's loud, distorted drums, and then the tom fill. I don't know why I liked it or didn't like it.
Interesting. That's surprising.
And if this means anything, my favorite song off Goblin. I don't know if you've listened to that yet.
Goblin has Yonkers, right?
Yonkers.
And
My
She
favorite.
and Tron Cat
Yeah.
and Nightmare. Yeah, okay. I've
My
listened to
favorite.
Goblin.
Yeah, my favorite song off that was Sandwiches.
I don't even remember that one. I've only
Yeah,
listened to Goblin like once or twice, honestly.
it was. It was like, it was like horrorcore.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just synths and then just kind of Haji and Tyler going over it. But that was my shit. Just like it's like, oh, this is gross. This is gross. And you have Buffalo with the lyrics, and you have Buffalo with its lyrics, and I was like listening to that, not knowing a single word, or just kind of just hearing it, just all the bad words, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanna jump back a little bit because we've kind of been going through this pretty quickly, but
Yeah.
like with Cherry Bomb, I actually played it for my son today. He's 10 because he hadn't really heard anything of it, and I was like, dude, you just got to hear this because he had asked me what we were going to talk about, and I was like, here, check this out. And because he recently has gotten into Black Skinhead by Kanye West, you know that
There we
track?
go. Yeah.
He loves the drums. He loves the drums in that song. Boom, boom. He just loves it. And so I
Yeah.
was like, dude, you got to check out just listen to Cherry Bomb. I had him sitting next to me, turned it up. Mom's all glaring over there because it's all loud and shit. She's trying to read her book. And he was like, I mean, this is a kid that he does listen to loud music. He listened to some metal. He's really into the Doom soundtrack. And I mean, he listens to loud music. It's not anything new to him. But when that fucking distortion just comes through on Cherry Bomb, just wham, wham. And then the fact
it hits you.
yeah, and I pointed out to him too, like, listen to the vocals. You can barely hear the vocals. He's so far behind everything else. He was blown away. And it was kind of cool. I got to watch him experience almost what you're talking about when you experienced it too.
Cherry Bomb is just sensory overload.
Yeah. So kind of go back to being a kid and you're moving around a lot and you're struggling with that. So, I mean, what was it with this album that just made it click so well?
I think it was, and yeah, it was kind of just like the loud surface level stuff. You know, you get like Cherry Bomb, Run. It's just loud on the ears. And then you got the softer stuff, which is more like, okay, you just gotta chill out a little bit. But having that kind of conflict, or not conflict, I would say, the contrast between the two. As a kid, that was like, as a 12-year-old kid struggling with his identity, and it's like, oh, the world fucking sucks. Why am I moving so much? You know, listening to all the hard shit made me feel cool. It made me like have like a little bit of identity. And then when I would hear the soft shit, it was be like, oh, I'm not fucking with this in my current moment. You know? But at the time, I wasn't thinking about that. I was like, oh, this isn't loud. Yep.
Yeah. Were there ever times at all when you were a kid when you would listen to the more mellow stuff just to enjoy it or not?
The mellowest thing I listened to as a kid on Cherry Bomb was Keep the O's.
Okay. Interesting.
Which is not that far off.
So now later on, you know, life has gone on and you've grown a little bit. What is this still one of your favorite albums? What's
this
your
is
opinion?
Still one of my favorite albums because it's one that like is grown on me and kind of grown with me. And Cherry Bomb, I feel, and I don't want to be too like narcissistic or cynical with this, but it's just like I feel like Cherry Bomb is the album I would pick if someone was like, yo, which like album represents you? Because around the time, this was before before Flower Boy and after Wolf, you know, Tyler, it was the softer songs on the album that really shaped like his future discography, what he has now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of the harder shit that like exemplified what he had like prior to that. So for this album, hearing it is like when I go to listen to it, it's like a audio checkpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why
yeah.
I can kind of retell all these memories so vividly because it's like, okay, I really love like the hard shit as a kid. Boom, that takes me back to like the memories I had from that point. And then like all the just angry, repressed, like, why the fuck am I, you know? And then from that point until now, it's like, okay, I've grown into myself. I can appreciate like myself in my fullest form, both, you know, calm, anger, all these emotions, if that makes like any sense at all. Because now some of my favorite songs are the ones that I previously hated. You know, I still love listening to the hardest shit when I'm in that mood, but it's like I love Smuckers, I love Okaga, I love Find Your Wings. Like these songs this album has like shaped my music taste to this day. It's something I take away from every little song and put it into it like in my various spread of music.
Yeah. And I think that is something that's really cool about this album. And it's kind of a bummer that so many people pass on it because it does have a lot more depth than I think people realize, especially if they don't take the time to listen to it. Like they just hear, it starts with Death Camp and then it goes into Buffalo and Pilot and they're just like, I'm out. You know, it's just a bunch of loud, crazy sound. I'm out. But they never really get a chance to get into those other songs, those mellower songs. And there is a lot of variety within it.
There's a lot of weight in every song too, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
When you call back about to Tyler, you know, himself, 2015, 2016, prior to all this, he was getting like I don't know if you know about this, but it was like the legal troubles and police and shit. And he's getting kicked out of shows, getting kicked out of like banned from countries.
No, I didn't know about any of this.
Yeah. So yeah, his kind of just rowdy behavior at his concerts was like had the government I think it was I believe it was. I don't want to look this up, but it might be Australia or Canada's government that like blocked him from performing because it was like you can't with the shit that you're saying.
Oh,
We don't
really?
want you here. Yeah.
Wow.
So with this with this album, it's kind of just like he's changing, and little adolescent kid, I'm changing shit.
Yeah, well, and what album is it? It might be Call You If You Get Lost. There is a line where he talks about he was going through puberty, and that's why Cherry
Hmm.
Bound sounded so
Yeah, yeah,
shifty.
yeah. That's why
What?
Cherry Bomb sounded so shifty.
Yeah, yeah. And so even he recognizes, like, yeah, Cherry Bomb
Hmm.
was kind of off the wall.
It was a mess. It was a mess. And then with the next few albums, that mess became something complete.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have really enjoyed watching Tyler,
Hmm.
starting from the beginning of his music and going through. I haven't listened to Bastard at all. I guess that's his mixtape, his first one. I haven't done that
Yeah,
yet. But
that
from
one's gonna be a shocker.
Goblin all the way through, it's been a hell of a ride. And even with
Yeah,
Igor and Flower Boy, and then Call Me If You Get Lost. I think Call Me If You Get Lost is his best one so far. Honestly, I mean, I
that's a
love
fair take.
I love all the other ones, but I feel like
Mhm.
Call Me If You Get Lost is like his most complete work, really.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. That's what it did
Uh,
feel like.
I was gonna go back. You're talking about moving around and stuff, and this is somewhat off topic in terms of
Hmm.
music, but I wanted to share. I remember going. My wife and I took a trip to Ireland once, and it was great. Loved it. Old country, and going into buildings that are hundreds of years old. And I remember having, like, on day three, almost having an identity crisis because at the time I was living in Fresno, like you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
And, in Fresno, there's not a lot of old buildings.
Hmm. Mm.
I mean, there's some stuff,
Yeah.
but, like, oh, yeah, the Staples has been there 10 years. Ooh, wow, that's so old. Right? I remember going into a pub, and the pub was built in like 1420, and the stone stairs that
Shit.
lead down to it have been there so long that they've actually started to wear. And I'm drinking a beer in the pub that was, established in like 1625, 100 and something years before the country I'm live in was even created. And I remember thinking, I have no roots. Like, I have no roots. I have no history. I have no background. I have nothing in terms of a person, like what to identify with. And when you're talking about that, when you're talking about moving, I
Hmm.
immediately thought of that feeling. And I wonder I mean, when you were moving, obviously you were a young kid, so it's hard to put it into those terms, but
Yeah.
did you have any kind of experience like that?
In terms of like identity crisis, yeah. No, yeah, for the most part, and I think only recently I've kind of gotten better at kind of figuring out what I want to be, who I am, and like what I've done in this world. But definitely as a kid, I was like, I was worrying about my future a lot. I was like, just like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? Not even in 2 years' time, but like 1 year,
No
you know?
kidding. As a kid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I went through some shit.
Well, and I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah,
ask you to,
it's
open up
okay.
too much. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that back because I wanted to just try and tie it into Cherry Bomb and dive into a little bit more of, the loud and the distortion. And I'm sure there's
Hmm.
probably just a lot of raw emotion that you were processing with
Yeah.
that album. But it's interesting that, and, and maybe it just happened to be the album. Maybe it could have been a different one if you heard a different one. But
Yeah.
how did you feel yourself kind of change in terms of your own identity and clicking when you're experiencing this album and you're listening to it?
Cherry Bomb alone.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh wait, on Cherry Bomb. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be just Cherry
Yeah.
Bomb. I mean, if there's other
No,
music,
like
absolutely bring
yeah.
that in. But yeah, I mean, the what feelings did Cherry Bomb come in and kind of like knock out? These feelings that you didn't want to have anymore. How did that just come in and
Okay.
say, "Get the hell out of here"? Bad feelings.
Yeah. I think kind of Cherry Bomb, like especially with the harder shit, it just kind of let me or let my brain go through a lot of like harsh shit. Listening to Cherry Bomb, it just kind of fills your mind. You're like, ah. And it was better for me to do that than like do some like detrimental shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having, and then I had always listened to music my whole life, and I kind of like especially now, like as a musician, as like a producer, I use it to get away. But it was just I didn't know what to do at that time. I didn't know how to make my own music. I didn't know how to process it in like a physical form. So to have that physical form there for me, i.e. Cherry Bomb, to do it for me, it was like, oh, cool, all in one.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. That's cool. Were there any other albums that you recall that were like special to you at that time as well?
Yeezus.
Okay, yeah, which has got a
Yeah,
sound that's right in the same vein too.
and funnily enough, Untitled Unmastered.
Which I haven't listened to yet.
Yeah,
I'm slacking right there.
Untitled Unmastered, and then Doris by Earl Sweatshirt.
And that's another one that people have been
Mhm.
recommending. I got to listen to. I got to get into some Earl
Earl
Sweatshirt.
stuff is good. And then I think once I've listened to kind of the four that I mentioned, uh, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that one's always up there on everybody's list.
hmm
That one's incredible.
That album plus kind of like going back to Cherry Bomb just like repeatedly and listening to the album in full. After um after To Pimp a Butterfly, I kind of like reawakened like, oh yeah, I like rap. The gene in me.
Yeah,
I went back
right.
to Cherry Bomb and I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is like a different feeling album for me.
yeah. So, did you ever get into things like Nine Inch Nails or Ministry or any kind of the industrial metal that existed?
A little bit. I got into Nine Inch Nails probably like one song, just like through a Guitar Hero game or something as a
Oh,
kid. But
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting to me how, because you so often I hear the people who dislike Cherry Bomb, they don't like that type of sound. And
Mhm.
I kind of remember, I think I had mentioned when I listened to that album, I was like, if I had bought this thinking I was buying a rap album, I would be upset because that's not
Yeah.
what this is. But then the flip side, I feel like there's so many people who could be into metal and could just jump right into this, and somehow they never do for whatever reason.
Because
And
it's rap, late titled rap.
I guess so. And it's strange how, I don't know, how it feels like this could be a bridge like between rock
hmm
and rap, to kind of bring people to cross over to the other side and check it out.
And
Yet,
that's kind of where I was at the time. Yeah.
yeah, and I think for you it makes perfect sense if you're listening to
Yeah.
Slipknot and you're listening to rap. Like, yeah, Cherry Bomb's right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to me how polarizing, how polarizing this album really is and stuff. And so, I mean, do you ever come across people who, they are rap fans, but they don't like Cherry Bomb? I mean, what kind of conversations do you have with them?
Uh, I mean, I mostly just ignore those. Kind of out of sight, out of mind thing. But if I did kind of have something to say about it, it's just kind of, I respect your opinion because I see where a lot of them come from. It's it's ugly. Like that's
Yeah,
a word. That's a
yeah,
word that just beautifully describes Cherry Bomb. It's ugly.
yeah.
It's not polished. And I feel like a lot of the shit that is put out today is polished, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Even
Definitely.
Yeezus itself is polished.
Yeah, yeah. There's a high quality production sound that's coming out of it, even though it is loud
Mhm.
and distorted in parts. Yeah,
Cherry Bomb is just ugly.
yeah. But that's what makes it so great.
I know, it's gritty.
Yeah, yeah. You feel like you can chew on it, like you just,
Yeah.
like there's just so much
It's just
grinding
like
and
it's like a punching bag.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Punching bag.
That's kind of what it was for me.
I bet. Well,
Yeah.
that's a great description because as
Yeah.
soon as you say that, yeah, I can feel emotions just hammering on
hmm
something.
Cherry Bomb. All right.
So anybody who is out there and say,
Okay.
nah,
Yeah, that's what that was happening.
cherry bomb, not my thing. What would you say to them to kind of get them to revisit it again with open ears and give it another shot? What would you say?
Get them to revisit it again. See, that's hard because converting people that don't like Cherry Bomb is something I've tried before, and that's why I just kind of shut up now. It's hard. There's a lot to hate about this album and not a lot to love.
Oh, it's cracking me up, man.
I mean, probably the first thing I would say to them is like, all right, I see where you're coming from. But it's just, yeah, okay.
I mean, some people
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
hard.
yeah, it is that simple. And I was thinking about the other day I was thinking about barriers to music and, you know, why it's hard for people who are fans of rap to come into metal, or for people who are into metal to come into rap, because there are all these different things that you don't realize until you jump over and try out something new. And it is, as strange as it might sound to the fans who are into rap, when somebody says, "Oh, I don't like the way they sing," you know, like somebody who's been listening to rap their whole life, and to hear someone say, you know, "I don't like the way they sing," you don't even consider it. It's so normal. That sound, that style of lyrical flow, you know, is so normal. But then if you go into the metal world and you tell them, "Oh, but it's too loud," you're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Of course it's loud. It's supposed to be loud. Like, that's the point.
That's the point.
What it all sounds like. And so, but it's all these just weird little barriers that until you allow yourself to get comfortable with it, you'll never really get a chance to enjoy it. It's almost, it kind of reminds me of like a little kid that like doesn't want to eat the food, and they taste it and go, "Oh, I don't like it."
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to fucking get a mouthful and put it in there and chew it for a while. And you really got to let it sit in your mouth and get a taste for it.
You seen that scene from Ratatouille?
No, I have not seen that movie.
I don't know why. That scene just popped into my head. People are going to know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've just figured out how to get someone to open it, or open up Cherry Bomb. Like, if you're going to listen to this album, probably after this, forget about rap. Forget about everything that you've listened to before, because Cherry Bomb was like the first rap album that I, like, as a kid, had the attention span to listen to. Forget about rap. Forget about all the mechanics and all the lyrical shit. And if you're gonna listen to it like Whole Lotta Red.
There you go.
Just let yourself feel the emotion. Second time, if you want to go through the lyrics and how bad it sounds, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think that's a great point.
And that's not a diss to Whole Lotta Red. I love how it sounds.
No, absolutely. No, I think that's a great point. I think really you do have to take a lot of your own preconceived notions and expectations and just go, okay, go over there, because we're going on a trip, and it has nothing to do with anything I've heard before. It's a completely different ride.
This is not no Doritos, Cheetos, Fritos, MF Doom, man.
You know,
Cherry Bomb is just,
go ahead, yeah. You mentioned Whole Lotta Red, and I remember having that experience when I listened to it. Like, fuck, this is really different, really different. And so I was
kind of when that video popped up on my notification feed, it was like, what albums did you do before this? You were doing some like, you were in Tyler.
I was Tyler. I was doing Tyler. I think
so you just came off of Call Me If You Get Lost, and then I was like, oh, Whole Lotta Red, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's not a let's see how he reacts to this. Let's see what happens kind of thing.
I think I had done Rodeo prior to Whole Lotta Red. I think. And Rodeo.
Oh yeah, and then you were planning to do Astroworld, but.
Yeah, and then that happened. But with Rodeo, I remember even that was a challenge, just because I didn't realize that there was so much emphasis being put into the production and the sound and all that stuff. And so that was something I was missing. But people gave good comments, and I learned from that. But then jumping in a Whole Lotta Red, it was like, what the fuck is going on?
Take those comments and apply them.
Yeah. But
you cannot listen to the lyrics on Whole Lotta Red.
No, but it really was his vocal style. And again, kind of going back to what we were saying before, with just these different weird barriers and expectations that we have. As soon as I was able to step aside and go, okay, the guy isn't singing. That's not the point. He's using his voice as an instrument. And I allowed that to kind of fold into the music. Then I started to get it. Like, okay, I can see what's going on. And so to loop it back to Cherry Bomb,
Yeah, when you say the voice as an instrument, my first thought is Cherry Bomb. He's not using his voice to rap. It's more of just like, oh no, like just loud in the background. Oh no, boy, don't got that wood. It's just filler. It's like white noise in your ear.
It's almost like just an echo to put in the background behind everything for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. God, it's so fucking wild. That title track, Cherry Bomb, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then when it gets into that beeping, that dun 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 dun,
and then it just slams you right after it. That's the part that I just love.
Yeah.
And then it's weird too, because at the end when it calms down and kind of like transitions into Blow My Love.
Yeah.
And listening to that end, it was like, as a kid, I was like, hey, I kind of like this. It's like a smooth sailing kind of thing. And then I go into the next song and I just skip it. But but
Uh,
that like little bit of softness, I think um hearing that as a kid, I didn't realize it now, but or realize it then, but I do now. It's just kind of it brought back like the memories of listening to like R&B.
oh, okay. Yeah.
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 And I mean, I didn't have an appreciation for that kind of music then that I do now. That's why I skip um like Find Your Wings and like Fucking Young and all that. Okaga. I think Okaga was actually the first one that I gave some chance to.
Okaga's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that track is fantastic. I had actually kind of slept on it, and then a guy that leaves comments often, he said, "No, you gotta." Actually, he didn't tell me. He had posted his top 10 Tyler songs in response to what I had posted, and he had Okaga as number one, and I was like, "Huh." So I went back and listened to it again, and it just clicked. Like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, this song's fucking great. And I think I
Okaga's
listened to it like
beautiful.
4 or 5 times in a row. It's just a fantastic track. Fantastic
It's like
track.
the diamond in the rough of everything else.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's weird because it's at the end, and so if you've bailed out before, then you'll never get
Hmm.
to it, and it's just such a great song.
Yeah.
Do you find
Um,
yourself ever going back to some of the old R&B albums and stuff like that that your mom used to listen to when you were a kid and enjoying them in
yeah,
a different
actually,
way?
recently I actually really have been getting into a lot of I mean just kind of playlists on Spotify, you
Yeah.
know, like Nelly, um, some Ja Rule.
Oh,
I'm in
cool.
there. Yeah.
And I mean, how does that work in terms of, Cherry Bomb brings up certain memories? Do those old R&B songs bring up old memories too, or what?
Oh yeah, no, definitely just kind of like being in the car. Like there's one vivid memory that I can recall, and this is whenever I listened to Halo by Beyonce. It's when me and my mom were in the laundry room and she showed me the Beyonce CD. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. I'm gonna listen to this. Thanks, mom.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Cherry Bomb does the same thing, but it brings me back to like being in that room with like a closed door and moshing.
As it's like a 12 or
Just
13-year-old
yeah,
kid just going,
just kind of
oh,
like just going crazy, and then I'd walk out and go to school or some shit.
that's awesome.
I don't know what I did.
God, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, it's, it's on one hand, it's a bummer when you hear about, people having a situation where they lean so heavily on music to get through it.
Hmm.
But at the same time, because it's a nice pipe dream to think, oh, everyone's just gonna have happy, nice lives, and no one ever has a problem, whatever. But
Yeah.
at least, man, at least so many people can find these albums and these songs and connect to them, and like you're saying, have a positive outlet to just channel all that
Yeah.
energy into, rather than going out and doing something stupid.
Yeah. And for the most part in my childhood, music was that outlet. Like my parents, my dad introduced me to like my uncle's drum set when I was like 2. And then my parents bought me a lot of like rhythm games and I got into them myself. And so music was always just kind of like my little escape from reality. You know, if I wanted to just kind of like, and when I remember when I was 6, I would be in my parents' room and they had this like little boombox. I would listen to like Akon.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
yeah,
music was always just my escape. And then Cherry Bomb to have such like a visceral reaction to it alongside being that or alongside that album being my escape, and it still has been throughout these many years. It's just kind of like, oh, this shit is beautiful. And I think that's why a lot of people can love it, because sonically it's very hard to love. But personally, Cherry Bomb, if you know if you associate these memories to it, and this goes with any album, but it's just like you associate these memories to any album, it's just like that's your top 5.
yeah.
And I think Cherry Bomb falls into that category for me.
Yeah. Well, and especially too with it being like the first one that you remember clinging on to on your
Hmm.
own. Like that's such a huge moment.
Yeah, Cherry Bomb was like my gateway to
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Because before that, before Cherry Bomb, I was pretty myopic. I wasn't listening to a lot of rap. Probably the only rap I would listen to was like I was into EDM at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I would
Yeah.
listen to like the little, like the one bar before the build up where it's like get the fucking. And then that was probably the closest thing to rap that I would do. So for Cherry Bomb to be as aggressive and like it combined all these elements of music that I love. You know, you go back to Cherry Bomb, it was like dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's a synth. You go to um, what was it? You go back to Def Camp, the
Oh,
guitars,
yeah. Yeah.
and then even with like Find Your Wings, like xylophones and stuff because I played percussion in a band, and at this time I was like, oh, ding ding. Yeah.
I remember my first album that I clung on to. I was a freshman in high school, and a buddy comes up to me and says, "Hey, dude, you gotta listen to this. You gotta listen to this." He let me borrow it over the weekend. I was like, "What the hell?" He's like, "No, just listen to it over the weekend and bring it back Monday. But you gotta bring it back. Gotta
Mhm.
bring it." Oh, okay, fine. And
Ups.
the band was Tool, and the album was called Undertow, and
Hmm.
it's metal. I wouldn't really call it like heavy metal. Maybe it's like hard rock or whatever, but
I'll listen to. Yeah, psychedelic.
yeah,
Yeah.
the content, like the lyrical content, was so different from anything else I'd been listening to at the time, and I remember having this feeling of, this is what I've been looking for without realizing I was even looking for it. Like, this is what I've been wanting to hear, and it
Hmm.
just blew my mind that a song or an album could come in and just do that. Like, I didn't know that was a thing at the
Yeah.
time. Like, I had no idea. I always thought like, oh yeah, you kind of like music or you kind of don't like music or whatever. It just kind of comes and goes. Like, no, I fucking loved it. Loved it. That was my first real experience with that kind of experience. I still just remember him telling me, "You got to bring it back on Monday."
It's like the memories with your first album are just so vivid.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you ask anyone about like what their first album that they clung on to, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remember this story, and then I remember listening to the first time, and I was like, da 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 da, da, and like, look where I am now.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
how that album kind of developed my music taste. That's
Well,
like a
and
beautiful conversation to have.
it's crazy too, like you're saying, how your memories get tied into it because you can
Hmm.
just time warp back to being. I can still remember being in my room and looking at my little boombox thing with the CD player that opened up on the top, and I put it in there. And that CD player, it wasn't the kind where you clicked it in; it just kind of wobbled on the top, and like set in.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
The
slide
little
it in there and close it and hit
acrylic
play.
face.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, shit. And then yeah, I remember just staring at it and going, holy shit, this is fucking awesome.
With a Tool, I've never seen a Tool CD. Were they as trippy as the music videos, I assume?
Yeah, so that album was the one that had the really weird music videos. It was
Yeah.
Sober, Prison Sex was another one that's a crazy video. But the guitarist, he was into claymation, stop animation, so he made all
Mm.
these crazy videos and stuff. And
Let me go check
yeah,
it out.
it was
Yeah.
cool. It was really cool. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask with Cherry Bomb, I mean, with that one being something that you clung on to, so
Hmm.
did it turn into like a breakout point where all of a sudden you just jumped onto a whole bunch of other sounds, or did you just stick
Yeah.
with that one, or what?
Yeah, pretty much because with Cherry Bomb, you know, after that I started getting into more members of Odd Future because um I would only listen to Tyler. Like I would really only listen to like Wolf and stuff. But then I started branching out into like their volume 2 mixtape or their volume mixtapes, their stuff on Bandcamp, and then Earl, which, you know, I still listen to him to this day. And then, you know, you get like I don't yeah. No, this album did put me on Kanye with Smuckers.
Oh yeah.
After I listened to Okaga, I kind of gave Smuckers a try, and I was like, okay, I like Lil Wayne. I listened to like one song that he had popular in the car, so I was like, yeah, let me give this shit a try. And then Kanye was on there. I was like, oh, that's Kanye. I also listened to one song on the radio from him. Let me go check him out, you know. And then from there, keep the O's for Pharrell Williams. You know, you
Yeah.
go into the Neptunes, you go into Nerd, Schoolboy Q, you go into TDE, you go into Oxymoron,
Oh, this is
or
cool,
his
man.
early shit.
Yeah.
Kendrick, you know, Kendrick is in this a record label. Sid on Pilot, Sid
Yeah.
on Pilot, and yeah, Find Your Wings. You know, you go into the internet and then you find out they're also in Odd Future, and then you check out Steve Lacy.
Oh, this is
You know,
cool.
this album really did kind of just like
Yeah.
open. It was like these. I was like just like this master key. I was like, okay, you go through this door.
Yeah.
You check out that. You check out that shit.
I'm picturing like a forest fire starting from a camp,
Yeah.
just boom,
And
off we go.
as I kind of grew like listening to more songs on the album and appreciating them more, I was like, "Oh, I really like this. I really like how this sounds. Let me go find more artists that sound like it." You know,
Yeah.
Smuckers, I went into Ye. I listened to Yeezus first, but I mean, this wasn't my first interaction with Ye. I listened to Yeezus first. I got the chance to go back to 808s because that was kind of an album that I was a little into.
Haven't heard
So
that one yet. I'm doing that one Friday.
808s,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Mostly just because of the songs that went mainstream. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Go back, listen to 808s, and then go back, listen to Graduation, and then just kind of, okay, he's releasing shit now.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kanye. Listen to Yeezus, you're like, oh, this is fucking sick, and then you go, you type in fucking, I don't know, Kanye West Reddit,
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
and then you're like, and then people are like, all right, let's talk about let's talk about Dark Twisted or Fantasy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, let's go into that, and then let's go into Kanye lore, and it's just like it opened up like a world of music to me, like literally. I don't think without listening to the Brown Stains as much and really liking Q's part that I would have like known about Kendrick as early as I did. I mean, early for like a 12-year-old, but
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. That's interesting though. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that stuff because I've never really understood why hip hop in general, they have all these features and all these artists because that isn't something that's very common in rock. And I've never really thought too much of it. Like, okay, whatever. And I've always assumed, well, maybe they're friends or they're just kind of helping each other out, or it's kind of a way to like sponsor or somebody new, like, hey, no, I'm going to be on this guy's album because I believe in what he's doing. He's making good music, whatever. But it is cool to consider the idea of listening to one album and in that being exposed to like 4 new artists and then listening to their albums and then getting exposed and it just multiplies and multiplies and you jump out.
it just keeps going. You're in just like an endless loop whenever you listen to music, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
Because the more you listen, the more you love.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like you're saying, now you just have this wealth of music to enjoy. And you go, oh, yeah, I know that guy. I know that guy. All these artists to just listen to.
You go back, and then you're like, oh, wait, he was on that? Like, yeah, he was on that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, I remember enjoying Kid Cudi, his feature on Whole Lotta Red. I was like, yeah, this guy sounds good. I like it.
And then you went and go listen to Man on the Moon.
Yeah, and that was a great ride. I've been listening to Man on the Moon too, also this week.
Oh man, I can't wait.
That's a good one. That's a good dark album. I'm enjoying that one quite a bit.
The trilogy's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm saving the third one for a reaction. I was torn on the second one if I was going to save it for a reaction or not, but I was like, if I wait to record it, it's probably going to be weeks until I do it, and I'll kind of lose the experience of 1 and 2 right together, and it feels like they go together.
That I do.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to listen to it.
But yeah. Nah, man, music is a journey, and kind of Cherry Bomb was my first. It like laid the little yellow brick road about where I am now.
Yeah. It's so cool. I mean, I'm happy to hear that Cherry Bomb was it, because I feel like there's so many people that would never, ever guess, oh, no, that would be somebody's entry into music. Yeah. Like, no. And I mean, granted, you were listening to stuff from what your parents were listening to and stuff like that. But for that to be your own first personal experience and for that to just knock down so many doors on its way, that's really cool. And hopefully that's a story that people will go, well, maybe I will go back and listen to it after dismissing it or not caring for it, or because it has been a while. Sometimes people, I've had that experience before too, where I listen to an album and whatever, and then years go by and someone's like, oh man, I love this thing, and they go back and listen to it again, and it's like, oh shit, no, this is actually pretty good. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially when you're listening to music as much as I am, and I'm assuming as much as you are, and like everyone else watching this video is. But it's just exposing yourself to so much music. I think that's why right now I'm kind of on my little 2000s R&B shit, because it's like I can go back to it and listen to it, not in the same way I was when like I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like you can really appreciate like how it sounds, and then the production, and then kind of like just like the emotion of it. That's what music really just makes you feel.
Well, and like you were saying, as you become more comfortable just as a person, you become more comfortable with just listening to other things that maybe used to make you uncomfortable before, but now it's like, no, I can listen to this. This is fine.
And I think that's why I did skip all those songs, because it made me like uncomfortable. I didn't like listening to kind of softer stuff when I was feeling all these, harsh emotions. But as I've grown and like into an identity that I can, associate myself with, it's kind of like I don't want to feel ashamed by listening to music, so I'm going to listen to music.
Yeah. I remember, this is going to sound probably dumb, but that's fine. Dumb's good. I
Yeah.
remember, there's this concept of guilty pleasures, right? Where it's music that you listen to, but you're ashamed. You don't want anybody to ever know you listen to it. Which, I mean, really, that's bullshit, right? Like, if you like a song, just like a song. And maybe your buddies are going to give you a hard time if you're listening to it and all this other stuff. But, enjoy it. It's music. That's what it's for. And I remember one of my guilty pleasures back in the day was, it was a song by Shania Twain. And what was it? Man, I Feel Like a Woman. And I cannot explain for the life of me why I enjoyed that song so much. But I did. And I loved it. But I remember being younger, and back then I was into metal, and that's all and classic rock too. But yeah, younger and just louder stuff, whatever. And if I would put it on, even though I enjoyed that song, I always felt like I had to like look over my shoulder.
I hope I hope my volume's low,
Right. And it's like, why? And it doesn't make any sense to me now that I'm older. Like, I just put on whatever the hell I want. It doesn't matter. But it is strange how, as you grow as a person and certain things happen within your own mind, like, you just settle in and you get a little bit more comfortable and you can listen to stuff when before you'd feel dumb for doing it.
Yeah. Nah. Music is just kind of, and I've found this recently, it's just kind of, it's been a way to kind of, I've been saying kind of a lot. Wow.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's fine. No worries.
Whatever. It just kind of represents, all right, there we go. It represents the emotions that I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And, I think earlier today, woke up, went to the gym, and I was listening to the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack. I was in that focus mode, right? Mm-hmm. Probably 5 minutes later, I get back to the dorm room. Bob Marley. I'm cleaning my room.
There you go.
Like, I'm chill.
Yeah.
I just got my workout in, and it's just like Cherry Bomb at that time. My only emotion was just kind of confusion.
Which, that album is confusion. It really is. Like, especially when you go from top to bottom, if you don't skip, it does kind of jerk you all over the place. It starts out loud and crazy and it going, and then it kind of slows down again, and then it fucking slams on the
goes
throttle
right back
again,
in.
and it's just, it's all over the place.
It's like, calm down. Come on, man. Just kind of,
I think that's why, I mean, Okaga is a great song on its own, but I think especially at the end of that album, to finally settle out onto that.
Yeah.
And
damn, I didn't even catch that.
And it's like, you can just like fucking, okay, you can kind of catch your breath and the ride is over and we're just going to send you off with something that's chill and have a good day.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
That's how it feels to me.
That is something. Yeah, no, I can definitely feel that now.
It's kind of like the end of the roller coaster, up and down, up and down. And then you get to the end and it's like, okay, now you're just rolling up to the spot we're going to get out.
Yeah. That's what I love about music. You just like find new things about what you listen to every day.
Yeah.
Like the other day ago, I was listening to All Right by Kendrick Lamar. And I find it, YouTube recommendation pops up. It's like The Beauty of All Right by Kendrick Lamar. And at first I'm like, all right, they're tracking my shit. Second, I'm like, all right, let's watch this video. And then the guy was like, Kendrick raps like a drummer. And as a drummer, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, right.
He does. And then especially when you think about the part in the second verse where he's like, I don't think about it. I'd profit every other single or whatever, every other single.
Yeah.
Can you hear the tom feel? It's just like, dugga, 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 dugga. And I'm like, ooh, that is sick. I love music for that own fucking reason. It's just everyone has a different perspective, and this is why what I think you're doing here is great.
It's been a lot of fun for me to come into these albums that people love and have listened to forever, and just come in fresh and blind and go, oh wow, this, that, and the other, and then see them go, holy shit, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, on some level, it's like an ego thing, like, oh, I noticed something, but really all it is it's just new eyes. And and you see this kind of phenomenon all the time where, what do they call it at work? Like when you become oblivious to signs because you see all those signs all the time that you don't even see them anymore, kind of a thing. And it is fun to just come in and have a completely different perspective and for people to be able to enjoy that too, which is cool. And it's put me in a spot where I think going forward, like if new albums come out, I think with YouTube reactors, there's this tendency to jump on it right away because that's the hot thing. It's going to get all the views. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'll wait. Like if Kendrick drops a new album that's coming soon, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna wait and let it sit for like a month so people can enjoy it and then kind of have their own opinion. And then not that I'm gonna come in and change the world, but then I'll listen to it and then they get to almost relive it again. You know?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
And that's what I was kind of going through with like your comment reaction. Like when I first found your channel, I was like, okay, you know, the song kind of marinated a little bit. Album. I let it marinate a little bit. Came out on my birthday. Listened to it religiously. I was like, okay, thanks Tyler for the birthday gift. Yeah, and then I came in. I was like, oh, Rocker reacts to Call Me If You Get Lost. And I was like, let's see what happens here. Let's see if he's gonna like this, because you know you see these metalheads listen to rap YouTube.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and it's like, you know, I actually like this. You know, it's like, yeah.
It's almost condescending in a way, huh? Like,
yeah.
oh, I actually like it. I thought it was.
Oh,
gonna
I
be
actually
shit.
like it, but no, you were like sharing your own perspective on it, and I was like, oh wait, he's not being condescending. He's having an open mind.
Yeah,
and that's
trying to. You know, that album reaction specifically too is a unique one because it's the only one where I was drinking beer while doing it. And I was really nervous going into it because it was the first time I was going to do a full album. It was Tyler's new album after doing almost his whole, I think I hadn't done Flower Boy yet or something like that. There was one album left I hadn't done. And I was scared because up until then, people were kind of recommending more or less the hits, you know, the songs that were a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
And I was worried both in the sense of, well, shit, what if I just don't like it in general? Or what if it turns out to be a shit album? You know, like I wasn't expecting that, but it's really hard to like listen to and react to something that you don't enjoy. And then like, I'm not going to come in and just shit all over something if I don't like it, but I will say, you know, I'm not really into this. And to go through a whole run of something I'm not into is like, this might be awful.
Yeah.
So I filled up my beer
sounds like torture. Damn.
I remember one part too, laughing because Tyler was talking about how he can't grow a mustache. I was like, yeah, I can't grow a mustache.
We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Good times. Good times.
The whole Tyler discography.
Yeah. So we're at 53 minutes. I try and keep them around an hour. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything that you want to share or recommend for people who are struggling with Cherry Bomb and maybe want to try it again?
Yeah, man. Yeah, just listening to an open mind and forget every single rap mechanic that you know, because he doesn't care. And he didn't use a lot of them. Smuckers.
Yeah, there are a couple traditional tracks, I'd say, but Smuckers is great.
But
Smuckers
is beautiful. I was listening to it earlier.
Yeah, I really like that jam a lot.
But yeah, if you're gonna re-listen to Cherry Bomb after this, go at it with an open eye or open ears, I imagine, and just kind of take away some time, not in a lyrical way. Like if you're gonna listen to The Pimp a Butterfly with like a pen and paper and like your reading glasses on with Genius up, right. Go into it kind of like how I did, you know. That's not a sit down type of album. Just kind of like live it. If that makes sense. You know, don't feel embarrassed by music. Don't feel embarrassed by kind of what the music makes you feel, because I mean I still do that occasionally. You know, when my roommates aren't in the room and they're both here right now, you know, I'm banging some music and I'm fucking belting my heart out.
Right.
But
yeah,
just re-listen to the album. Just kind of let yourself feel the music wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, especially with Cherry Bomb. You really do got to let it just pump into your veins. I think too.
And if you don't like it, still after that or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I think too what you're saying. You know, forget everything you know about rap, because it's almost like a negative. You know, you see like a picture and then they take the negative colors of it, like inverse the colors. That's almost what that album is in a way, especially on again the title track Cherry Bomb. His vocals are so far in the back, behind just this massive wall of distortion that's just pounding the speakers the whole time. It's almost surreal. I've never heard a song that has vocals do something like that. I've heard instrumental I've heard solo breaks, you know, between vocal sections, but never where the guy is singing and you just can't fucking hear him at all. He's buried behind sound.
Yeah.
It's so cool to me.
There's music. There's music that you could think of when I say the word dreamy. Night Cherry Bomb is one that I would like describe as nightmare.
Yeah.
It feels like sleep paralysis.
Yeah. And you know, I wonder, you mentioned that, and fuck, man, that's a perspective I never considered, because Tyler was working his way out of that like horrorcore rap. And so I wonder if he decided, you know what, instead of having horror lyrics, I'll do horror sound and just go that way. Maybe. Maybe.
That's a good take.
Who knows, man? It just occurred to me just now from what you said.
That's a sick take, actually. Think about that.
Yeah, I am too. I'm gonna listen to it again tomorrow and go, maybe that was the whole point.
There we go.
Oh man, well, Mike, that was fun, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
No
problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for advocating for Cherry Bomb. I feel like it needs a little bit more love now and then.
Yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but we love it for its imperfections.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's texture. We call it texture.
Yeah. Texture. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, man.
All right,
All right, y'all. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. This was episode 7. Wow, already. And we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Go ahead. What? Yeah.
Does anyone plug their socials? Because I kind of do some.
Oh, go for it. Yeah. I always forget.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, go for it, man. Plug your thing here.
My Instagram is Mike's World 555. I have a link tree set up there. You can go to all my other work. I produce music, and I've been recently getting into modeling, graphic design. So.
Oh, cool. Right on, man. Yeah.
Hopefully, y'all can spread the love in other ways.
Yeah.
Spread the love and listen to Cherry Bomb, man.
And that's a good pro tip. I forget about social plugs.
Yeah.
I so rarely use any of this stuff. So yeah, good. Thanks.
You got to get it where you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Thank you for this. Thank y'all for this.
We'll see you.
Peace.